Hello, Alex. It's lovely to catch up with you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the Dog Health Podcast with Boyle and Broth.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the invitation, Rachel. I'm looking forward to this. Awesome.
Oh, Alex, it's always a pleasure. You know, obviously we've known each other for quite some time now. We've been kicking around the industry for a bit, and we always sort of have good conversations. And I know that you guys are doing some pretty amazing things in the dog space too. So yeah, I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to have you on and tell all of our lovely listeners what you've been doing, and just more about your brand and everything. So obviously we've done some advertising with you guys before. We've done other projects with you guys, and we'd love to hear more about it. So Alex, why don't you tell us a bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, well, thank you. That was a fantastic introduction. Appreciate it. We just, we've picked our lane and we're doing the best that we can within that lane. So a bit of background about Westies and Besties Magazine. We started this about 5 years ago, half a decade, would you believe? Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It was our anniversary on the September, just gone this year. So we've survived.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've survived 5 years. You know what it's like being a business owner as well yourself. It's not for the faint-hearted. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. There's no straight road to success. It's ups, downs, rounds. But it's been the most rewarding sort of product I've worked on. I've been in publishing now for 27 years. I've launched many other projects, publications in the UK, North America, in the Middle East, whereas then relocated over there, spent about a decade in the United Arab Emirates. We came back and I worked for a few companies as well, so a big publisher here in the UK. The culture wasn't a fit for me, to be honest. Worked a few of the little jobs, just tried them in different sectors. Didn't work out. I've always been a media guy, a publishing guy, so I came back into just worked on my strengths. And so from there, we had a Westie, little beautiful Buffy, and Kim had him before we actually met, to be honest, over in the Middle East. We came back together as a little threesome, little family. Kim was also the editor's qualified journalist as well. So we soon noticed that there wasn't a go-to sort of source of information on Westies, the breed. There's a lot of health issues attached to Westies, particularly skin issues and dysplasia and Westie jaw, Westie lung, that type of thing. And so we were going all over the place to try and find certain information. And we found a lot of forums as well that were in there, which you can't really always trust the information in those areas, in those communities. So we thought, well, okay, I just finished at that large publishing company here in Wales. And we decided, right, if there's a time to do something, it's the time to do it now. And because of my background in setting up businesses, all the market research and all that type of thing, and I thought it was viable. So there's the saying in the race, like, is there a niche in the market, and is there a market in that niche? And we found that there were. So then we decided to do the magazine came first. We did the website, which has loads of content on Westie specific sort of things such as health, nutrition, behavior. Then we've got a community section, lifestyle, travel, the whole sort of shebang, basically. And that was 5 years ago. Since then, we've got a big social media sort of community. The magazine is doing really well. We've had some famous people on there, like Sir Tony Robinson, aka Baldrick, out of Blackadder TV series.
Love it.
We've had security expert and ex-British SAS officer, Billy Billingham, who was on the TV all over the place. We've had the CEO of Battersea Dogs Home on there, talking about the rehoming and the rescuing and adoption sort of things. We've had Ricky Gervais in there. We've had a former Prime Minister in there. We've had top vets, behaviourists, psychologists, hydrotherapists, everything that you need as the questions that you have are 80% answered from our sources, our platforms. And the whole thing is to help as many people as possible to care for their Westies and give them a healthier, happier and longer life. So we're giving them options, basically, Rachel. Rather than the sort of traditional vet route, we've interviewed holistic vets. So we're giving everybody as much information as possible for them to base an informed decision on what is right for their Westie. Because one piece of advice might not be relevant to one other Westie, but will be for another Westie guardian, So we're giving them options in one place. And since then, we've launched a podcast, which is available on our YouTube channel. It's also available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and many other platforms as well. We've just recently launched on TikTok as well. So we've put some short video content on that as well, which over the past few weeks has been received very well. But it's like we've been doing it 5 years. We're doing all these things, but it feels like we're just getting to the starting line, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I have to say, I think it's so important what you're doing in the space because, you quite rightly said that, all breeds of dog have different issues. And I think it's so important to build a community of people that can share their experiences that, it's just it's more important for them to connect with other Westie owners or other owners from the same breed because they're going to share similar genetic issues that we know comes from, certain breeds of dogs. And to create a magazine out of it is just quite remarkable. I mean, and make it a success because it's not easy in the publishing space at all. I mean, I've worked in marketing virtually all my adult life and you see it's difficult, and especially where you're acting against aspect of the space as well. So congratulations, well done. I mean, I the magazine is so important and it's a great place for people who go Westies and also to have other experts involved as well. I think that much more credibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, and we're very big on our morals and ethics as well, which in today's society is, it's not really diminishing, but it's not as strong as what it used to be.
Have morals and ethics anymore?
So we're gonna plant our flag in the sand here and just say, right, this is who we are, this is who we deal with. And we're quite careful in regards to, and we've learned, don't get me wrong, we've when we first started, we bootstrapped the whole business. So we've got no investors. It's not something that we're thinking of. We never have done. But from my experience, you just create something from nothing, and you just share and actually not sell that belief, but get people on board with you from the early days. And we did, and we're still working with quite a lot of them to this day. But that's because we're very careful that we align our ethics and morals, and they vice versa as well. And that's who we'd like to work with, because we wouldn't have given anything that we disagreed with to our Westies. So why would we tell other people it's okay for you to? So that's we'd probably be a lot financially better off if we went for the bigger players who've got more budget. But then you're selling yourself. I'm not a big thing of selling your soul, and that's what it would be for me if we did that, to align ourselves with big conglomerates and who listen.
Well, you become controlled anyway, don't you? I think that's the biggest thing is that, I don't know about you, Alex, but I went into business because I wanted freedom of my time to be able to create something. And if I'm the boss and I don't want to get up for work one day, I can just say I won't get up for work one day. But unfortunately, that never happens. because you end up actually working more than you have time off. But yeah,
Well, that's true, isn't it? I mean, business owners, we work 80 hours a week, so we don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else 9 to 5. We're just not. Are we sane?
I know. I think we're all slaves, aren't we, to the system, really? But yeah, I mean, look, just going back to the whole having to work for others, and if you get investment in, you're absolutely right. You become, it becomes their dream, their vision. They want to get their money back as well. So you have to be able to blend that, and it either works or it doesn't work. And yeah, and we're very similar, Alex. We've bootstrapped everything, never taken any investment, grown everything organically. And you know what, it's been hard work, but I wouldn't actually change it for the world, and I'm sure you wouldn't either, because we've learned along the way. And it was really interesting what you said a minute ago, that you're 5 years in and you feel like you're actually only just getting going. I'll tell you, that's exactly where I feel right now with business as well. We're 7 years in, and it's only really been in 12 months that I've actually felt that, right, okay, I can see what needs to be done in the business now. A more senior perspective on the situation, if that makes sense. I think when you're smaller, have a team, obviously you're doing in the business, aren't you? Making coffees, picking up, doing whatever, doing the emails, social media, whatever. And obviously as you grow, you're able to start to help with those things, which frees you up then to start doing the things that maybe the leadership side of things should be doing. So yeah, it's a good time. And I think that it's great that you're able to see that in your own business, that now you're really able to start doing some great stuff. I'm sure you've done very well financially and profitably as well. And it's good now. You can start putting that money back into the business and grow it in other areas. So tell us about some of the other things that you're doing. So you've launched your podcast.
Yes.
And how long's that been going?
Podcast. We launched this, the first episode went live on the 9th of October.
Amazing.
So we've just uploaded our 7th episode. The 7th episodes also include the intro between myself and Kim as well, just to give people a bit of a feel of what it's all about, really, to be fair. So we've included that, which is not a full sort of episode. I mean, disclosure here, So what we're looking to do, and the sort of strategy, is to interview as many Westie owners as possible, because
awesome.
The people that we've interviewed already, they've got such contrasting lives and backgrounds. We've had a chap, Alan and his Westie, Finlay, that do he's a therapy dog. He goes to a local cancer ward, local to them in America. Where Alan's wife was treated some years back, and it just turns up every weekend, dedication, every weekend without fail. They turn up and just make people's lives a lot better for the staff and for the patients. And then we have another one in America where it's a champion surfing Westie, only in California, right?
Love it. You're kidding me. So this dog goes out surfing, and he's a champion.
He's a champion surfer. He competes, but there's about 120 other Westies competing. He's the champion in about 2 or 3 years. And when we've interviewed it, a lady called Kay, you can find her on our YouTube, and look at the YouTube so you can see all the trophies behind her. That he's won.
I will. Huge. Okay, what's the name?
It's Kay and Finlay. Apologies, no, PT. Sorry, PT. Petey. I think it was episode 6. I think it was. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have to. How brilliant! So, tell me, Alex, have you got plans to go out for the Californian Westie champion surfing competition? Get some nice photos for the magazine.
That's a great question, actually. Yes, maybe next year we'll turn up there just as an excuse, as a.
Just do the business.
Yeah, see what the accountant says about that, really. But yeah, that'd be fantastic. So that's what we're doing, really. So and we've had another chap called Mike. He's an MIT engineer. He's been his background. So it's a really mixed bag, but there's all one connection, and it all leads back to the Westie, and then we just talk about the Westies, talk about their personalities. We do a quick fire round as well. So it's like we do it on the Westie. It's sort of like zoomy levels, 0 being a couch potato up to 10 being a Tasmanian devil, for example. Where do they fit on that scale? And it's just fascinating. It's fun, but it's also informative as well. So we've also had a chap called Craig Harrison, who's a former British sniper, and served in the military 23 years, proper dedicated, suffered with some mental health issues. I mean, the poor lad had been shot in the helmet, been blown up over in Afghanistan, all types of things. But again, as soon as we start talking about Westies, there's a smile on everybody's face that fills the whole screen on the laptop. It's just unbelievable. But that's what dogs do, right? They do that for us. It's just, they make us laugh. When you're out of the house, away from the dog, we're talking about the dog all the time.
Oh, well, they're a part of the family, aren't they? And,
100%.
Yeah, and I think when you see that people use them so much for therapy, I think it's so rewarding, and it's and I think it's really important to help support parents who are sick, particularly. Stressful, obviously we can't communicate to us like humans, so we don't always know exactly what's going wrong with them. So to have a safe space where people can go and learn more about how health and mental health things is really, really, really good. And it was kind of similar to what we've been trying to achieve, particularly around the health side of things, in a world that's so broken, particularly the health system for humans and also for pets. I think it's so important to educate about going back to natural health, about how to, to really support, your everyone in your family, whether they're your child, whether they're your dog. We all deserve a comfortable, peaceful life without pain. And so many of these people that, who do end up with dogs, Westies and Besties, they may be going through pain in their lives, and they're able to find that comfort through a companion. And quite rightly, with what you were just speaking about then, with certain people who've had trauma in their lives, how much difference it can make to their lives, especially, you're getting the opportunity to interview them and to talk to them about that. And I think that's really important, really, really important. But Alex, amazing stuff. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same with you when you get your feedback from your customers. We are also learning as well, because we've never been in the pet space before. We've been more corporate. I've done like B2B publications for construction publications, and it's completely different to a little fluffy Buffy the Westie.
I was in carbon credits and before I moved to England, I was like renewable energies and all that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, before I moved to England, I am English. I moved to Australia and spent some time in Australia, and that was where I was working in renewable energies, carbon credits, all that sort of stuff. And then I come back, and thank goodness I had children, because they totally changed my life. I went down the children route, not the dog route. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a bit similar in certain ways, though. It's a commitment, isn't it? Really, to be fair, when you do get a dog, the walks, and you do worry about them as you do with children as well. A lot of people of our customers and audience, they call them little fur babies, and so from the dogs that we have, the sort of evolution of the connection and the way we interact with our dogs, since let's go back to the 1980s. We had a Labrador back then, and he had a kennel outside the house. It was not allowed in unless he was coming in for something to eat, or if the weather was a bit bad. Now, our little Westie, he used to sleep in between me and Kim, and I'd wake up in the morning, there's a little Westie breath, and his little head just fakes. It's like, so the evolution from being outdoors in all weathers And he was under the duvet as well.
Yeah,
How did you get in there?
That's so cute. That is so cute. Well, go on. Sorry, I was just going to say because you mentioned about Labradors, and I'd love to hear more about that side of your business as well. Because you gave me a very nice magazine, which I have somewhere.
Got this one here. That's the one. Yeah. So we had this is the second edition that we did. The first edition we just purely digital. We didn't print one because we just wanted to, test the waters, keep as cost down as possible. From what we've learned from Westies, so we're always implementing stuff that we've learned. So, but it was great to have him on board. Talking about he's had Labrador since he was a child. He's written books on Labradors, so I thought he'd be a great ambassador to put on the front cover of the first print version of the magazine. And it's taken really well, to be fair. And we're currently in talks with, I don't want to spoil it, to be honest, but some exciting collaborations and some partners that we're currently working on to get the branding, get the magazine out to as many people as possible. So that was launched officially in March. We launched it at Crufts officially.
Nice.
And it was me just going around and giving some information to, because they were showing the Labradors and the Retrievers at the time, the sort of like working dogs, gun dogs and things. And there was hundreds and hundreds of them. Literally, you know how big Crufts is? There was like huge halls. It's massive, isn't it?
Wow.
And I was just going around introducing myself, and there was lots of people looking on the website, because the website was live and everything. It was really, really exciting. But we got to speak, because it's Labradors and Retrievers, they're domesticated, of course. It's a very popular dog breed, the most popular dog breed on the planet, basically.
I was going to ask you about this, because they are, well, I certainly know they're the UK's number one dog. So is that on a global perspective as well, is it?
Well, yeah, in the UK, on the Kennel Club report between the year 2012 and 2022, there was over 380,000 Labradors registered on the Kennel Club. Those are the ones that were registered.
Wow.
Then Retrievers in the same decades were over 85,000. So combined, it's, you're touching nearly like 500,000 over that 10-year period. With America, the Labrador was the most popular dog breed in America since the 1990 up to until about 2 years ago, when the Frenchie got the number one spot, which again is quite telling, really, because of the cost of living and everything. Smaller dogs are becoming more feasible, more affordable. They'll just give you as much love and unconditional love and attention as well as any other dog breed. So that's quite interesting. Westie's perfect dog, absolutely perfect. Westies can live in a one-bedroom flat in the city. They can live in a house out in the country. They're great with kids, as long as they get their mental stimulation and exercise, hour and a half a day. Big deal. That's nothing. They're happy, So with the sort of like larger dogs, with the Labradors and Retrievers, they're great. We had one, he was called Star, because he was totally black and had this white little star shape top of his forehead. So it was, yeah. So, but then since we've launched this, and going back to when we were at Crufts, I was talking to like gamekeepers, all ages. There was male, female, girls, boys, talking like 17, 18 years old. And they've got like 7, 8 Labradors back on their estate. And it was fascinating because it opens up a door to a different world. It's a different lifestyle. It's more country, and it's associated with equine and outdoors and outdoor sports. And it's just absolutely amazing. So we've been very excited about that as well, because there's so many other opportunities, which we're excited. But also it's learning more things about a different sort of breed. So how they train them, where they breed them. There's a lot to it. It's like Westies and any dog breed. What we try to do is inform people all the way through the journey. So what to look out for if you're going to a breeder? I mean, first of all, adopt, don't shop, but that's not always accessible for the breed that you want. Totally get that. But if you are going to go to a breeder, these are the things you should look for.
Good idea, yeah.
Check this, have they got certification? Are they registered? Let me see the mother, let me see the father, where they've been kept, all this type of stuff. So there's a little checklist that try to inform them. So they can then make sure they're getting the right dog for themselves, and they're healthy, they're fit, it's integrity and all that type of thing attached to it as well, because you don't want to go somewhere where an unscrupulous breeder gives you their dog, you fall in love with that dog, it falls in love with you. 8 months later, you're having to make a really awful decision because there's a health issue there that can't be cured or whatever, you know. So the emotional sort of the negative thing attached to that is we try to help people avoid that sort of situation, but we give them the advice on how to look after them properly, you know, by having good nutrition, bone broth. Have a look at what this holistic vet is saying. Have a look at what the new meds are out. Let's have a look at side effects. We've interviewed for TISO, red light therapy, and this type of thing. It's like
Brilliant.
to help with joints and muscular pain. It's not all about painkillers. It's not all about that, because it doesn't. It's just putting a band-aid on it. So we're quite open in regards to that. And like I said, to give people as much information for them then to base an informed decision of how to look after their dog. But when you're actually going down the natural, the sort of raw feeding, bone broth, all these natural things, turmeric as well, things like this, which are all natural, grow naturally on the planet, you'll have a happier, healthier dog around for a lot more years than if you were to go down the other side. Because going back to Buffy, little Westie, we had him on kibble because we didn't know any different. You know, we were an outsider from the pet industry in there, and our knowledge was very limited. But then we switched him onto the raw, and the difference was just so noticeable so quickly. His eyes were brighter and shinier. His coat was shinier. He had more endurance. It was happier, you know, and it was, but we didn't know this before we started this journey, the Westies Besties Magazine and the website, and speaking to people who know a hell of a lot more than what we do, you know, proper experts. So that's exactly what we've rolled out for the Who Adores Labradors as well. And we try to keep the titles a bit fun as well. So there's no word of the word dog doesn't appear in our titles, but everybody knows what it's about. So we've Westies and Besties, and then we've got the Who Adores Labradors and Retrievers.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, it's just doing so well. And I think, you know, you're just talking on a point there that I wanted to go back to with regards to how we've changed in terms of keeping our pets from, you know, you mentioned about the 80s, you know, your dog was out inside in a kennel and, you know, throw them the scraps or whatever, you know, but now it's so different. You know, we don't have to be like that anymore. And I think technology has advanced, our health has advanced in ways of the good, you know, it's not just about pharmaceuticals, it's not just about synthetics, it's more about natural health, natural living, natural environment. And it's so nice to see that transition and change, and that people are adopting it with their dogs as well, you know, because you're quite right, so many people don't realize that there are other options to feed their dog food. You know, they might go to Tesco's or to another major supermarket and just walk down the aisle, and all they're presented with is canned food and, you know, other foods that, you know, are highly processed, just like it is for us when we go down to the shopping aisles and we're presented with all this choice of food, you know, that is, the majority of it's highly processed, you know. So I think it's so important now to take a step back and look at, what you're feeding your dog. What's, you know, because dogs, as I said, they don't communicate in a way like humans can have a conversation. So you literally have to look at what you're giving them. What are they eating? And that has to be the number one rule, I think, when it comes to pet health. What are they taking? What's going into their body? So, yeah, and I think it's such an important part of your work, of what you're doing, in bringing in all these different experts, and how amazing for yourself, because your dog must be a super dog, right? Because you've got all this fantastic information from all these different vets and experts and all that, that you can learn so much. But I will say there can also be too much information as well for people. We seem to have supplements for everything now for dogs, particularly. Do dogs really need supplements on a long-term basis? So I'd probably argue no, they don't. Certainly need it initially to help, perhaps if they've got an illness or a condition that they're lacking in a certain supplement or a certain nutrient. Yes, definitely supplement that, but don't do it forever. Make it as a maintenance plan. Give it to them a few times a week rather than every day. And I think that's perhaps some of the message that does get missed in particularly in the health space. So if you've got an issue with the issue, let's get to the cause of it. Let's replace some of those nutrients that the dog lacking. Yes, it's about maintenance and maintaining.
Absolutely, totally agree. Yeah, go and get some buzz and go look for something, because it's like humans. When humans go to a pharmacy and they see these vitamin tablets from A to Z, right? Okay, but what am I deficient in? I'm okay on the others. It's just that one. Okay, let's have a look at this. Get your test done for that particular one. Then get that to replace that. I mean, there's also businesses like yourselves as well. We love to align with, because you came out with a biome broth study, and that delves really deep into it. This is fantastic information for people. It's like, what the hell is bone broth? I've heard of it, but I mean, it goes back millennia. But has it been sort of buried and hidden by the bigger sort of companies?
Yeah, well,
I think so.
I can tell you. Definitely, because, certainly from our evidence, thank you for mentioning the study. And actually, you'll be excited to hear we're going to be doing more on it. We're going to take it, we're going to have stage 2 of the Biome Broth study. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We've been in the space for nearly 8 years now. And in that time, the government have tried to shut us down a number of times, and it's mostly because of, they don't like it when customers come out and say, this has helped me with my health issues, or they didn't want me to have my house. I'm not allowed to have my house story even up on our website. This is for the British Broth Company, not for Boil and Broth. Boil and Broth for dogs is different. You can sort of get away with a bit more in the dog space, but certainly in the human space, it's been massively suppressed. And and we've nearly been shut down because of the information that we've shared online, that's freely available for you to access in America. America, they've been banging on about bone broth for such a long time. Same with Australia. But over here, because we're so controlled by the pharmaceutical industry and the NHS, they've just literally blocked what you can say about broth. And it's such a shame, because you're absolutely right. It has been buried. It's an old ancient cooking that actually it was used very much when people were poor, because they didn't have money to buy an abundance of food. So they would literally get an animal and eat and use every single part of that animal, the skins, the coat for warmth, the cooking of the bones for nutrition. They turn it into soups and stews, all that sort of thing. So it's being used as a healing modality, but also as part of a staple diet for many years. And we've just totally lost all of that. But we know through our Biome Broth study that actually, the having regular broth in the diet does help to support gut health, which I know myself, because I lost 6 stone with bone broth, so I knew it was doing good in my digestive system. And then I wanted to understand more about what is it that it's doing in the digestive system to help make that change. And we learned that it's more of a prebiotic. So when the dogs were consuming the bone broth, they had it for 4 weeks, never had broth before, had bone broth for 4 weeks. We tested their gut microbiome before, tested their gut microbiome after. results were quite amazing. We could see that there was certain harmful bacteria that within that 4 weeks, the dogs having the broth, they're significant. Because the bacteria in the digestive system had increased. When you've got more of the friendly guys in there, they're able to control and ward off the bacteria. So it's what to help feed the good bacteria that within the gut, and therefore trying to restore it back to an ecosystem, I suppose. Fascinating. We hope to continue that study. We have to find out if there was any Westies on there. Well, maybe we need to reach out to your community, see if there's anybody who would like to be part of the next study.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he reached out to us and we asked a question to the community. I think 1 or 2 got back in touch, I believe. Let's do it again for this. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it would be so good. We'd like to make it a bit bigger. Last time it was only 33 dogs. We'd like to have more dogs on it this time, maybe even get the sponsor behind us as well, because that would help to, find more dogs. And so we're certainly looking to do it a bit bigger, a bit better. And Carol Hughes at Wyoming for Pets, she's amazing. She's incredibly knowledgeable. She has this fantastic relationship with Aberystwyth University. So, they have fantastic access to data. And she's been profiling this stuff for such a long time. So she's a very good person for us to work with in getting it done.
Oh, she's a leader in that sort of space, isn't she? Yeah, she's fantastic.
Have you had her you should interview her for the magazine if you haven't done already.
Yeah, we have. She's been in a couple of times, and I've seen her at the actual dog expo as well.
Nice,
which is really, really growing. There's a lot more interest, and I've seen her there do some talks. Absolutely, blows my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, amazing stuff.
About these people that are so dedicated to a completely different species. It's just unbelievable, and doing it for the betterment of their lives. And also, I think the education side of things is a big talking point from a lot of partners and clients that we work with. It's just to educate people about this thing. It's been around for a while, but it's because the bigger companies have more marketing spend. They appear more on TVs and radios and print and everywhere else. So it's sort of like a false reality that they're portraying to the public, where in fact, if you do a bit more research, people like yourselves and companies and brands like yourselves just get that message out relentlessly, keep pushing out, because it's real stuff, it's healthier, and your dog will benefit. Like I mentioned, just circling back to when I mentioned we had him on kibble at first, then we switched him onto the raw, and I think 6-8 months before he passed away, we were making fresh food. So we had the raw food, but then we used to go down to local supermarket, get some lean minced meat, and come up. He had these portions and powders and liquids and everything, because he had stage 4 kidney failure. He had more portions and powders than Hogwarts. And it was unbelievable. And we were making it. We just gently fry it in the frying pan, just gently, not cook it, and then mix it all up. He had an array of, it's about 12 different sort of items that we had to put in. We had to feed him 8 times a day. You should only feed a dog once a day. But that was just to get the medication in. And on top of that, we used to divide it up over and put them in tubs, put it in the fridge. And that would last 3 days. Then we had the other stuff that he had to have on top of it. But I think that when he was a pup, he was on the wrong sort of nutrition, because it's like giving a newborn McDonald's every day.
Oh, gosh, that's awful, isn't it, when you put it like that? But
Well, what does it do to the organs when the organs are actually, forming and actually increasing and functioning how they should be doing? Moving forward, if we get another dog, it would be straight onto either raw or fresh.
Nice.
Brush his teeth from his, so he's used it for the rest of his life. But it's fascinating. So I think a message to your audience is just look at some alternatives. There's a lot of information out there. I agree, Rachel. There is a lot of information out there, and sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. But I would just say go to a reputable site or person or brand. Just do a little bit of research, because it will also save people a lot of money in the long term. With the least amount of vet visits, there's more money in your pocket.
Yeah, nice.
So I'd look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Brilliant advice, Alex. Really, really good stuff. I mean, I totally agree. I think it's so important to pick your brands who you want to work with and trust them. And I think that's why we're you and I and others in this space are doing things that engage with community, because we want to make sure that they're getting access to the right information, because it is a minefield out there for information. Every day something in the paper, or don't do this because it's going to kill you, or don't do this with your dog because it's going to kill them. It's like, great. All doom and gloom. But Alex, so tell me, what's next for you guys? Have you got any big plans? Or obviously your podcast is growing nicely, you're going to keep doing that, but have you got anything else that you could share with us?
We did sign an NDA, didn't we, a while ago? So
we did, but I don't think you can start. Love it.
What we're going to be doing is
exclude all the millions of listeners.
Yeah, just between me and you, just keep this on the air. Well, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So
yeah. Have you got anything?
We're going to continue get more content out on podcasts and the Spotify and Apple, and you've got a YouTube channel as well. So we're going to just keep this relentlessly putting up more content awesome. On those with the Who Adores Labradors and Retrievers. We're building, we've got a lot of conversations with a lot of potential partners and collaborations. So once they're all tied down, we'll have a lot more to talk about, and just to get that brand out there and just smash it across the world, like we've been doing Westies. And we do have a few other things that we're planning to do, but probably not definitely not till the new year. We've got we're doing quite a lot of good work, and we're happy to team up with new people we haven't perhaps actually worked with at the moment. More experts, health experts, nutrition, behavior experts, brands that share our ethics and morals, that are more on the natural sort of side of things, the holistic side. And don't get me wrong, we're not totally saying, the traditional and mainstream sort of veterinary practices up and down the country or across the world are excluded from this. But we try and give all the options to all our customers and all our audience, basically. But we do personally ourselves lean more on the holistic and natural side of things because of our own personal experiences. And we like to tell our story that way because to save people going through what we've been through. As you do when you don't have that information or can't access that information or don't know where to go for that sort of information. So it's going to be more of that, more experts collaborating with more partners. We've got some exciting things that we're going to be announcing hopefully by the end of this year once we get some confirmations and everything signed. Which it's going to be, we try to think out the box, and these potential collaborations will continue to shock and awe the industry.
Well, I love it. Are you going to do an Elon Musk? Have you heard about his next thing? He was on Joe Rogan the other day, and he announced that he's got this new product to reveal before the end of the year. It's a car. And he said it's going to be the most crazy product reveal that anyone's ever going to have seen in the history of product reveals. Basically, the car's going to fly. So, so you'll have to let me know if it's going to be something on par with that, Alex.
Well, it's when you mentioned that. Do you remember of the Back to the Future films? There was a scene when Marty came back, and there was something. There was a hovercraft taking the dog for a walk. Maybe that's. I saw a video the other day. Actually, it was Janet D-Tech's, I think, in Dubai. It's a big technology and AI sort of exhibition in Dubai, and there was a chap who was wearing these shoes, and it was levitating.
Wow, really?
Walking in it. And there was another one where there was a guy who had the same type, similar looking type of trainers or shoes, and it was gliding over water, like it was walking, literally walking on water.
It's mad,
Only in
isn't it?
Dubai, yeah, yeah,
I know,
crazy.
I know. Yeah, the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. So maybe not as dramatic as that. The
It's the-
next launch, to be fair, but we're aiming high.
I love it. I love. Oh, well, Alex, it's just been on today. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me, and I'm sure you listen to this will get something to bit, particularly your passion for this space and the advice that I think you've shared to people. What's important about having a dog and the amazing things that they can get from your magazine. So just just please share with everybody where they can find more out about your magazines. Where can they go if you've got a website?
Yeah, of course. It's www.westiesandbestiesmagazine.com. They can find us on the Westies and Besties TV. That's our YouTube channel. And TikTok is at Westies and Besties Mag. And yeah, I mean, if you go to the website, it's got all the social media icons at the top. Just click on those and that'll take you straight through to our Facebook page as well and Instagram. So yeah, feel free to come and have a look.
Amazing. And I think we'll have to have another catch up in maybe the next 6 months or something, find out more about what you're doing, see if you've released your flying dog or something.
That would be an invention and a half, though, really, wouldn't it? But, or having a collar or something like that around the neck loosely, but as a translator. So every time it barks, he's talking to you in English, whatever language it is. Yeah.
That would be a good invention. Love it. All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, Alex, and I'll catch up with you next time. Take care.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure, Rachel. Take care. All the best.
Hi, we hope you loved today's episode of the Westies and Besties podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and tune in for the next episode. Now, if you'd like to be a guest, please feel free to contact us on the details below, as we would be delighted to share your story and to meet your Westie.